be talking about how the myth of religion, specifically Catholicism, or Roman Catholicism, has played an important role in my life, and how my new understanding of life, and worldviews in general, has affected my own take on religion. Now to start off with, let's get a definition of Catholicism. Catholicism is commonly defined as being the largest and most predominant branch of Christianity and is governed by the Pope and his hierarchy of clergymen, from bishops to priests. Catholicism is different because it likes to focus more on the emphasis of the veneration of saints, especially Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ. And as for its public beliefs or political beliefs, the Church firmly and publicly stands against abortion and artificial birth control. They don't tolerate that at all, and they see it as basically pure evil, and if you do it, you're going to hell. Now, I became a Catholic because my parents were Catholics, and as far as I can tell, or as far as I've been told, my grandparents were Catholics, my great-grandparents were Catholics, their parents were Catholics, and probably all the way down the line, all the way back to my ancestors in Lithuania, before they even immigrated to America. And, I don't have a big problem with that. It's a family tradition, and it's a very common thing to follow your family and to do what they're doing. And even if you eventually feel that it's wrong, no matter what, it's definitely going to start off changing your life. It'll affect your early years and have a great effect on you in your later years, which it has, especially for me. Most people would think that something that your parents force upon you will eventually have negative consequences because you didn't choose it for yourself. And that's not always the case, especially with something like a religion. Most religions are forced upon children by their parents because their parents think that's best for them. And everyone gets their own choice and can decide whether they want to follow something or not. But, especially in my case, it's not a detriment to my life. I haven't found it to be a drawback. Religion has played a very important part in defining key aspects of my life. First of all, it sent me to a Catholic school. I went to a very small, private Catholic elementary school from about preschool all the way through 5th grade, and then I moved to public school. But in those beginning years, that's where I really kind of defined myself as who I was going to be in middle school, which in turn had an effect on how I am, or how I was in high school, and now how I am in college. The school was really small. I knew everybody. Everyone knew me. My mom taught at the school. She taught art. So I was never very far away from home in general. If I needed help, I could always ask someone for help. I never had to be too afraid of failing. And also, being surrounded by people that I knew, there was less room for error in my eyes. I had to make everyone happy because sooner or later I was going to be seeing them again later that day anyway. The need to make everyone happy and be a good kid was just forced upon me and surrounded me, and that's what I did, and that's how I was, and that's how I still try to be. And that's definitely not a bad thing. I like that a lot. Also, I made a lot of friends in that elementary school that I still try and keep today, although they didn't stick as well as the friends I made later on. I guess that's because early friends have a tendency of slipping away, especially when you don't see them for a while, or when you move away or go to college somewhere else. But those friends that I made really helped me decide who I wanted to hang out with or who I wanted to be with. In elementary school, we had the main cliques. We had the jocks who really didn't care about being in Catholic school. I mean, they were Catholic, of course, that's why they were there, but they didn't act like it at all. And they would leave school and totally forget about it and do whatever they wanted. They just seemed like really bad people. I really don't like them. Even to this day, I prefer not to talk to them. And knowing that not following religion leads to something like that, or someone like that, or makes you be that way, helps me realize that I definitely wanted to try and follow religion, especially as a young kid. And I think that's good for young kids. And on the other hand, there were the nerds, the quiet kids. And that's who I hung out with, definitely. Because that's who I was, and that's who I still am. I mean, these kids were well-behaved. We didn't talk to anybody else outside the school. We just hung out in our own group, and we were all pretty devout, I guess, is as far as what 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds can be. Just good. They were all good people, and I saw that, and I wanted to be that way, especially the friends who were more devout than I was. They had all their prayers memorized and whatnot. Nothing that was required, but they had gone above and beyond, and they seemed to be really happy, and everyone loved them. So I definitely wanted to model myself after them. As for outside of that school, being a Catholic opened up different doors to me, namely, definitely the biggest, Boy Scouts. In fact, I'll probably just talk about that in general. Boy Scouts took up, from 3rd grade until my junior year of high school. I was an active member of the Boy Scouts, and everyone's heard about Boy Scouts. There's little Cub Scouts who make little wooden cars, or they race them against other parents and their kids, and they sell popcorn, and they go to campouts, and they have fun at the fire, and it's a very stereotypical middle-class white person kind of religion was definitely in there. Different aspects of Boy Scouts were focused mostly on camping or being outside or being a well-rounded young man, and everything had an undertone of religion. And we would often have moments where we would pray. We would say grace before meals. We would say grace in the morning. Well, we would say a morning prayer and an evening prayer. And none of us ever really thought anything of it. But once you got a little older and thought about what you were saying and realized that it was everywhere, you realized that it wasn't just a place to hang out with friends. It was really a place to learn how to be a better Catholic, especially where I was at. And I didn't realize that until a lot later. And I don't dislike it for that, but I think it really kind of surprised me when my pure view of what it was changed into something totally different, which is interesting to me. I think that's interesting how that panned out. And also, in Boy Scouts, I served as the chaplain's aide for a while, which meant I led the prayers. I would talk to the church, and I would arrange any kind of activities we do with them. Being in that position kind of reassured my idea that being a Catholic was something I really wanted. It just seemed right, and that's probably why I'm still Catholic today, probably through Boy Scouts. I just got a positive image of it and want to keep it up. But now that I'm in college and I've taken classes that kind of question the solidity and invulnerability of religion and being a Catholic and being what my parents always wanted me to be, knowing the ins and outs of that and the technicalities of what it is and how it came to be and how it's really no different than anything else, any other religions, it really opens your eyes to possibilities that you may not have thought of beforehand, such as knowing that the church really doesn't allow for any individual expression. I mean, if you want to interpret a religion differently, that's okay, that's cool, but more than likely, people have done that in the past end up creating their own religions because it didn't fit in with the previously established religion. The Pope makes all the decisions, you make none. I mean, it's less of a personally created entity than a set of rules that you choose to follow, and that really doesn't match up with a lot of people's ideals. And the thing that really opened my eyes with any of the issues of religion, especially recently, was the Ideals class, this Great Ideas course, and being forced to pick out the pros and cons, the strengths and weaknesses of a religion, something that until early on in your life probably seemed infallible. It was the law, it was life, and you didn't really question it because you were never asked to. No one ever told you, hey, is that really right? Is that thing you've been doing your entire life wrong? If someone were to ask me that, I would say, no, it's not wrong, it just is. And it's your personal belief on whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing that defines it. And each person's definition is different based on their own life. With that in mind, for me personally, I think I'll stick with the whole religion thing, being religious. It's more of a social thing for me now to keep in touch with my parents and live a better life, because all the things that it promotes, they benefit you as a person. And although you would be doing it in the name of Christianity or in the name of Catholicism, what does it matter, really? As long as it has a good outcome, why not? Now, the one thing that I've been using to dictate my own religious affiliations is Pascal's Wager. If you don't know who Pascal is, he's actually a 17th century French philosopher, mathematician, and physicist. And one of his ideas that really resonates with me is that all humans bet with their lives either that God exists or not. And that since there's no real way of knowing whether or not God exists, or the devil exists, or there's a heaven, or there's a hell, you might as well just live believing that God does exist and try and live the lifestyle that is dictated by whatever religion you choose to believe in. Because even if God doesn't exist and you've lived a life of religion, of holiness, and you've not lost much, you've lost some pleasures, some luxury, a few things like that, it's, there's no harm, no foul. You lived a good life, and that's it. There's no harm, there's a lot of benefit to be had, and you might as well. And so that's basically how I think of it. I have no way of knowing that if God is real or not, and my parents believe it, I believe it, my grandparents believe it, I love my family, I think they've gone good places with their lives. People who I know who are also religious of different faiths also seem to be living good lives. I'll go for it, I might as well keep it up. And with that said, I probably wouldn't change my religious affiliation. If I was born again and I had the choice to be Catholic or not, or religious in general, I would probably just stick with religion. And to anyone who doesn't live religiously, I hesitate to say go out and be religious, because that's not a fair thing to say. I mean, you have to make that decision for yourself. I can't say that, of course. Although I wouldn't see any harm in being religious. Being non-religious, you're basically playing the 50-50 chance of whether or not God is real or not. And some people would argue that it's way more lopsided and to the favor that God doesn't exist because of science, and there's no logical way to explain it. When you're dealing with something that heavy and something that has so many different variations, so many worldviews, something so hugely applicable to everything, it's kind of intimidating, and living without it just seems simpler. So whether you go for a simple approach or hey, what the heck, why not kind of approach, you're gonna be fine.